Hello, my friends. It's your brother Zen bringing you messages of love from above. And this reading is going to be for the season of Sagittarius, which we're rolling into today on November 21st. And that'll go through December 21st when we enter Capricorn. So I thought I would do a happy birthday reading. So happy birthday to all you Sagittarius that are out there, or anyone that has Sagittarius in their chart. What I'm going to do is pick a card for 3 choices. So you have the Sagittarius card here. You have the Jupiter card here, which Jupiter is what rules the sign of Sagittarius. And then you have the fire card, which is the Sagittarius is a fire sign. And these cards, if you're interested in those, are from this Zodiac Oracle deck. They're a beautiful deck. I really enjoy these. So go ahead and pick which pile you want. They'll, of course, be linked down below. So we'll go ahead and jump on in. All right, welcome to your reading. If you chose this Sagittarius card here, it's pretty cool. Kind of let you see that there. All right, and for this reading, I'm going to start off by picking a card from this Oracle deck here, the Mystic Shaman Oracle, just to get an overall message to start off with here and see what we've got. And what message do we have for the Sagittarius deck? Oh, there we go. All right, and you got the Coyote, and that's number 12, if that means something specific for you there. And I'm going to go ahead and just put it right here. And let me just read from the little book here to see what messages the Coyote Spirit has for you. So the coyote is the symbol of the sacred trickster, the one who provides detours for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. Great. The coyote brings the energy of divine deception to set you free from the shackles of that which doesn't serve you. Sometimes it appears that you will get everything you want, only to find that coyote brings you the opposite of what you hoped for. The lessons offered by coyote may first appear confusing, but they are most sacred and always for your highest good. And for these cards, there's both an invitation and a medicine for this. So the invitation is, if coyote calls to you, this is a time to pay special attention to detours and disappointment, as they are true tests of faith. You have set your intentions and turned them over to the Great Spirit, yet you may find yourself lost and confused when it appears you are being led off course, off the path leading to your most cherished dreams and desires. Remember this. Coyote is a sacred trickster and may be leading you into challenges to ensure that you are ready to handle what you've set in motion. Great growth and understanding come to you when Coyote calls your name. Very nice. And then the medicine shows, it states, are you being seduced by what you think you desire? Could it be that the more superficial, sparkly, shiny aspects of your ambition led you in this moment? Perhaps you feel that in order to get what you desire, you have to compromise yourself, control others, or manipulate situations to ensure your goal is met. Coyote howls in the shadows to remind you that this may be a lesson too painful to learn. Beware the shallow waters right now. Something or someone might pretend to be deep, but that doesn't make them so, no matter how seductive their superficial traits and how beautiful or sparkly they appear. All that glitters, there will not turn up gold, no matter how many wishes you make to change that. I'm going to reread that because I kind of broke that up a little weird. All that glitters there will not turn up gold, no matter how many wishes you make to change that. Well, so definitely a good message there. I know I'm always reminded when I hear something along those lines that, thank God for unanswered prayers. Sometimes we don't know what is in our best design for our highest experience here. So next I'm going to pull some cards from my own personal oracle deck that I'm working on with the Creator. And we'll see what additional messages we have. And we'll pick a couple more oracle cards from different decks here as well. All right, what additional message do you have for us, Creator? What else would you like the Sagittarius deck to know at this time? And these messages can be, like I said, from starting today through the end of this horoscope period, which would be December 20th through that day. Okay, what additional message do you have? Okay. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay. We'll grab those two. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and go with these. So we'll start off with this one since it showed its way first here. And this card is The World is Unconditional Love. And this is actually a 4-part kind of meditation and awareness, which I'll link down below as well. But it starts off by stating, I am unconditionally loved, by the Creator of all things. And then we get so filled up, the love comes and fills us up from the Creator that we start to expand and become so full, we realize I am actually made of unconditional love. And then we get so filled up that it starts to overflow out of us to the world. And then that is, I unconditionally love the world. And then when we're sitting in that space, then we realize that the world is also made of unconditional love. So what this card is basically stating, and it goes along with the message that you had with that coyote here, that no matter what is going on outside of us, we can trust that this entire world and everyone in it, including ourselves, all the animals, and even that coyote, is made of unconditional love. And though this movie or this play that is unfolding, in front of us, even though we don't get what we think we wanted, we get perfectly what is for us, and we can trust in the Creator. We can trust that the universe is kind and that everything is unfolding for, your best, most exciting, growing experience here on this planet. So we'll put that one right here. You can still see that. Yep. Okay. And then this card. Perfect. So this is guiding love. And what this tells us is that not only is this how unconditional love is being shown to you, which means that, you're going to have all these kind of things happen in your life, all these messages where if we will shut up and listen, we'll hear messages from that Holy Spirit of love, that essence of unconditional love that flows from the Creator into this realm that will be guided through love. When we're in fear, it's so noisy we can't hear, this guiding love that is there to navigate us with this, kind of having unconditional love being our compass. It also, the flip side of that is, how can I express my unconditional love to the world. And again, we can be that guiding love for the world, like when there's a rocky shore, we can be, that lighthouse of love shining bright, letting people know, that there's more to this life than, the defensiveness and all the attacking and all the running out of fear, all those fight and flight, things that trigger within us when this human ego kicks into that fear. So this is a message of not only we can be still and look for that love that's guiding us, but we can allow that to fill us up and also be a guiding light to others. Yep. And then you got the a chakra card, which is the third eye chakra. And let me just kind of zoom in here so you can see what it says underneath here. And down here is the meditation. And over here is the overall message here. And I'll read these to you too. So the third eye chakra, it starts off talking about kind of an overall kind of theme of it is both I understand, but also connection to back home. And that's back to our real home, from where we come from, we're these unconditional love beings. And we come here to experience, what this human conditional love experience might be. With the third eye chakra, once we align and we have this, in this place of conditional love where we're filled up and sitting in that quietness, that's when it talks about seeing, hearing, intuiting, and knowing. And that's when we see the real truths, the capital T truths, not the fear truths, so the lower T of conditional love and those things, but of the real higher understanding of what's going on in this realm. And when it talks about I understand, it says these actors act and react for a purpose. So like I was talking about before about, this play that's going on when I was talking about the world is made of unconditional love. Though these actors that act out of fear and go through all these experiences, the human bodysuit that we experience on the individuals, that are walking on the earth that we see with our physical eyes, behind them is actually a higher, powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. That's the actor behind the character. So even though the character might be acting like a fool, with unloving things and unloving actions, we can know and trust that behind them is this actor. And when we see through the eyes of unconditional love, we see those higher beings, that are behind that. And what helps with that, the meditation it mentions on here, which again I'll link down below, is I am unconditional love. So that's where what starts, and that's what meditation can help ground our third eye chakra to where we can connect to that seeing, hearing, intuiting, and knowing. Perfect. And then the last of those cards, it's called Friendly Failure. And you can see this crowd here. And let me see if you can, does that focus in on there for you? Yep. So that says, keep your eyes on your own paper. And that's what the Creator gives us this message on what can help us convert this fear emotion into peace and joy and love. Of course, friendly failure, what that means, and it's funny just that, this kind is what feels like is going on in, the United States right now, just with riots and division and people picketing and just, that division and that battling that's going on. The friendly failure is that we ultimately, what takes us out into that fear zone is the fear of failing, the fear of what other people will think of us, not even just our friends and our family and those we care about, but these mysterious shadowed, which I call the they, what will they think of us? Well, who are they? If it's people that really truly love us and care about us, they're not going to judge us and give us any grade at all. They're just going to love us. And they know that we're always giving the best that we can give. And, but when it's a mysterious someone that doesn't know us, why do we care what they judge us for anyway? Because if they don't have all the facts about who we are, then they're judging us without, without all the, quote, like evidence, with all the information. So it's a bad judgment. So if they give us enough, what do we care? They're not grading correctly. And that's how we can look at that. But when it says keep your eyes on your own paper, what that does to free us is, rather than looking outwardly, at everyone else, that we just focus on our own feelings, our own emotions, our own actions. There's a saying, sweep in front of your own door before you go and tell the people they need to sweep in front of theirs. Or, the more famous one is pluck the plank out of your own eye before you pluck it out of someone else's. But it's about coming back to what you are in control of, which is your own emotions, your own choices, your own actions. You can't control anyone else's. In fact, whenever you try, all you do is get resistance, because I know how many of us really enjoy having people trying to, point at us and you need to change this about you, and you're not thinking right, you're not doing right. What does that do? That's not of love. All it does is cause a battle, an attack against one another. But when you reach out with love, and that's what I love about this. Let me see if I can zoom in. It's an eye with a heart in it. When you see through the eyes of love, then everyone is perfect. Everyone is an A++. If you're gonna grade anyone, you can do it that way. All right. Next, I'm going to pull this oracle deck, which is a really cool animal oracle deck. And we'll see what additional message we have with that as well. All right. What additional message do we have? Okay, there we go. Looks like 2 popped up there. It's a nice birthday present. You get 2. So the first one is the seahorse spirit, which it talks about watch and wait. It's also number 53, if that means anything. It breaks down to number 8. And intuitively, just reading over this before I kind of look through the little book there, two messages that come with this. The first is that whenever there's a storm going on, it's like on the surface, if there's a storm, it's a rocky storm. And you're thrown all over the place, and it's hard to get your bearings. But when you're submerged and deep below the surface, you don't even realize the storm. So if you sink into the sea of love, then that's when everything just feels more calm, and you can look up at the surface. When you're down below, if you're looking up at the surface, you might see the ships and stuff going up and down and see all the chaos, but you can sit in peace. And that's where the, watch and wait comes in, is you can, kind of just sit down there like the little seahorse, and just sit and watch it, and experience it without feeling you have to go up and get involved in the chaos. You can sit in peace without getting, drawn into the battle that's raging above. here, and let me just grab the little book and see what edition. Open right up to it. So it says the message for this one is, hovering gracefully, the seahorse observes with the perspective of one who is not engulfed by the drama, remaining at a distance from all the turbulence. Okay, like I was saying. So seahorse spirit appears at this time to remind you of the need to be neutral and gain perspective. Your message from the seahorse spirit is, not my circus, not my monkeys. Spirit wants you to know that even if you are tempted to jump into the fray and try to fix things, the best way to serve yourself and others right now is to remain calm and simply watch and see. Another message here is that whatever your query, Seahorse Spirit asks you to step back from it. Be willing to explore things from different angles rather than a single one, and just observe what is possible. From the perspective of the position of the neutral observer, you will discover a myriad of opportunities and a deeper understanding of what you seek and why. And you will know beauty, truth, love, and wisdom. Wow. Perfect. And then you also got the squirrel spirit on here, which is card number 57, and it says, believe in yourself. And what I'm kind of getting with this intuitively is, coming back to this meditation about I am unconditional love, and it's believing in your true self, because that is what is going to bring you the calm there. Let me see what the little book has to say for that. All right. So the squirrel spirit says you have accumulated wisdom and experience and are surrounded by all you need. An abundance of resources is available to you through the generosity of spirit and all your hard work. Squirrel spirit shows up when you need reminding that the acorns you have gathered and stowed away have enormous potential to grow. So relax into knowing there is always enough, and you have what it takes to co-create the reality you want to experience. Through diligent preparation, you have gained wisdom and strength. How much potential you have. Believe in yourself, for Spirit believes in you and wants you to know you have enough and are enough. Doesn't that truth make you feel safe and secure? It should, for you have everything you need right now. Wow. That is beautiful, especially in these times we're in right now. It can kind of get scary if we feel that we're not going to have enough, and that's kind of what will kind of take us into fear as well. All right, Sagittarius, we're going to end your reading with one final card from This Universe Has Your Back, which is always a good news there, and we'll see what final message you have. And before I pull this card here too, while I was doing that, they were telling me that, it's easy to get squirreled and be pulled back into the storm. So it's like, keep an eye, on yourself as well. And that'll keep you from being drawn out there. And when you feel like you're getting pulled, just, don't get nutty. Don't become nuts about things, but come back to yourself. All right. And what's the final message here for the Sagittarius card pickers? All right. And here is the message here. If you can see that, okay. There you go. And it says, when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. So coming back into this place of unconditional love, you get to connect to your joyful presence, which are the actual essence of who we truly are is unconditional love, peace, and joy. That is our actual existence. We just shrink and kind of take a little drug to get amnesia when we come here to walk on the earth, to forget that piece of us so that we can understand more of who we are by experiencing what we're not. So wonderful messages. I hope this brings a little bit of joy and peace and love into your moments now and for, this next 30 days-ish as we go through the Sagittarius season. If you enjoyed this video, if you don't mind giving me a little like on the bottom down there, that does help out my channel. And if you want to be notified of any of the future videos that I do, just click on the subscribe button and click the little bell and you'll get notified as well. All right, well, I'm going to leave it with that, and I wish you all the love, all the joy, and all the peace that you can handle over these next 30 days. And just know that I love you. You take care. All right, welcome to your reading. If you chose if I can get this on here, the Jupiter card, then this reading is for you. To show that to you there if you'd like to see that. All right, we'll put that right here. All right, I'm going to start off by picking a card from this Moon Oracle deck here. It's the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and see what message we start off with here. All right, what message do we have for our Jupiter cards? All right. So that card starts off here. And this is the Wisdom card, and it's also card number 22, which is a master or a power number, which is pretty awesome there. Intuitively, before I read from the little book here, I really just feel that it's a wonderful time for you in your life, especially, and this will be for this next coming up November 21st until December 21st when we go into Capricorn. But it's a time where, it's funny, this canoe here, you'll be looking at kind of over this past year, which of course, has been a huge eye-opener for a lot of us. It's brought us a lot of wisdom of what is important to us, what is truly important to us. And it takes kind of huge, situations like this to get our attention, because we can become so used to just sitting in the canoe and going along, and we kind of almost get into a daze of life where we don't even realize months go by and we haven't really lived. We've just kind of existed. And where this wisdom is coming into play for you is, like it shows her here, she's standing upon all these experiences, all these, it's almost like journals, all this, how like sea captains used to do their sea journals of all the adventures and everything that you've gone on. And now you're looking and you're seeing and reflecting into the moon here. And, there's always this contrast between, are we in the light or are we in the dark? Are we half full or half empty? And we're getting to experience by what has happened this year on what has really fulfilled us and what has not. And a lot of that happens when the things that we thought were important to us, like even if it was like a job or a relationship or whatever situation we thought was going to make us feel whole or make us feel safe or make us feel comfortable, when those things are rattled and shaken, kind of like the canoe, if, a little boat, when it gets shaken and rocked, we learn how to find our balance again. And I mean, she's definitely balancing herself upon all those books. And we're seeing what truly is important, which, when people pass away and, people are like dying from viruses or there's threat of health, we realize it kind of just puts everything into perspective of, I'm not sure if we're here tomorrow. I'm not sure if those loved ones are here tomorrow. So rather than get into arguments about, what is someone doing, what are they thinking is right or not, we get the wisdom to know that all that really matters is that I love them. And I'm going to enjoy this moment I have in my life and with the lives of others, because the rest of this is just extra. It's nothing compared to being able to have all those things. Because as we've known and have experienced this year, is nothing is certain. Something that's here can be gone tomorrow. And who would have expected that this could have ever have happened here? And, like in the United States and in the world, we thought we were above having, pandemics race across the world. And boom, here we are. Same with like when 9/11 happened. We never would have thought that we would have such a huge act, upon our own lands. But it takes something like that to rattle our cages and make us refocus on what the important is. And then I'm going to see what the little book here has to say as well. And it says here, wisdom is more than mere knowledge. There may be something you aren't seeing and need to research more thoroughly. Wisdom is gathered, but it takes time. Learn from your experience. You might wish to ask the opinion of a wise mentor if you're uncertain. It is often said that the body has its own innate wisdom. If healthy, it just knows what to do and does what it needs to keep us alive and moving without thinking too much about it. Most of the time, we aren't aware of trying to keep our heart beating or of breathing when asleep. Similarly, we have this innate reasoning system, intuition, that allows us to get answers or receive information without conscious thinking. It's that feeling or hunch of information or insight that is just there. Some people believe this is the wisdom we receive from the gods, the very spark of the divine voice that is left within us. This is a very old kind of wisdom that sits in a very old part of the brain. Then there is the gathering of knowledge and experience, and what we discern and learn from this. If the result has acuity, if it is successful in the real world and good in sense and perception, it's most probably wise. The getting of wisdom takes time usually, and we can be impatient for it. We might cut corners and not see the role we take in our own poor decision-making. To me, though, as modern people, we have millennia of wisdom to assist us. Human history has some very wise people starring in it, and some not so wise. So we have plenty of examples from which to learn. Gathering wiser people around us is in fact one of the wisest things anyone can do. We cannot always know it all, and a wise mentor or friend can not only save us from a poor decision, but also demonstrate how to be wise if we aren't quite there yet. So, perfect. All right, next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some cards from this personal oracle deck of mine that I'm working on with the creator and see what additional messages we have for the Jupiters. Additional messages do we have for those that chose the Jupiter card? Okay, I'm going to take that one out and this too. All right. So we'll start off with this one here, which is just called Losing Religion. And the little message that it has in here from the Creator to help us convert this fear that we could have is to remember love. And it has the little heart up there. And what the meaning of this card is that this doesn't mean you have to lose your organized religion, that you're involved in your spirituality. Everyone has their own religion, which is all these conditions, all these things that we think have to happen, what people have to be, what I have to be, all those things that involve people, situations, and things. We need all these things to happen in order to be lovable and acceptable. And what the Creator, why this card comes up for us is to have us challenge, and it's almost like I talked about all those things we thought were important and needed to happen are catching fire. It's like they're burning down around us. And sometimes that happens for good purpose for us. And like I was talking about, because when we realize that those things don't mean anything, it comes down to what is most important, which is that love. So great confirmation for that there. And we put that there, and we'll pull the next one here. And this one's called Bye Bye Love. And before I read the bottom thing here, just exactly what I was talking about. We've had things that have really just hit us between the eyes when, we've probably all have known someone, either close loved one or an acquaintance of someone that we know that has been impacted either by, pandemic death or some other kind of death. Maybe not in the most recent, time frame, but enough to where it has impacted us where we remember it. And what this brings to us is when we have individuals that leave our lives, it reminds us, one, of our, this being, this physical human being, that we're not here forever. But one of the biggest impacts is if we were using that person's presence in our life to define us, to show us that we are safe, secure, and loved. If we believe that, then as it shows down here below, we might, if we think a half plus a half equals a 1, then when that half is gone, then we feel like we're half a person or not whole. But the message that the Creator brings to us, regarding this is that it's 1 plus 1 equals 2. And if someone leaves our life either through choice or by, passing, then 2 minus 1 equals 1. You're still whole. You're still complete. That you're not less than ever. You're always completely whole. But the mirror, this kind of situations that come out both with this situation as well as this, that little mirror, it just represents to show us that every situation, every person is a mirror to reflect back to us how we feel about ourselves. And that always brings us messages to point us back to us, because the more we're disappointed in these things and feel lost, when we turn inward to find out who we really are and to remember that we're whole just as we are, then we can rest in peace as well. And then the last card for this one is the power to laugh. And that's so fitting because, with all these situations that we're having here, we're conditioned to, on when this thing happens, this is what it's supposed to mean and how we're supposed to respond. When this thing happens, this is how we're supposed to respond and feel and act and how it's supposed to impact us. But the power to laugh is an amazing power because it tells us that we get to choose what any situation means to us. And even in a situation where, we don't think it's not appropriate to laugh. We can laugh, you know. I just had a flashback of, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Steel Magnolias, but, you know, there's a picture after a funeral where, you know, one of the main characters loses her daughter, and everyone is just so sad, but one of them, you know, the mother is saying she's so angry that she lost her daughter, and so one of them shoves one of her other friends to her and goes, "Here, hit Wheezy." And it makes everyone crack up and laugh, and that begins the healing process, you know. But so laughter is powerful, it's healing, but we can also choose to laugh at situations, whether it's a flat tire, losing a job, you know, whatever it might be. We can just look at it and go, you know what, I'm just going to choose to laugh because I can. And it's very powerful when we break that cycle of, you know, reacting how we think we're supposed to and respond how we want to with this. There's also an additional message with the smiley face that talks about our inner self-talk and kind of the power of adjectives. The adjectives we use to define a situation really can tell us our beliefs about things and how we can transform them. So, you know, even when someone goes, "How are you today?" And it's like, "Oh, that's a great question. How am I in this moment?" You know, or "What kind of day did you have?" "Well, I had a crappy day." Well, that crappy day is a choice, you know. It was just a day. If we remove adjectives away, we see truth for what it is, and we understand what kind of word or attitude we're applying to it. So I was trying to think of like an example, you know, besides a crappy day, you know, it's like food, you know, that's just a sandwich. Is it a good sandwich, a horrible sandwich, a delicious sandwich? Maybe if it's just a sandwich, then we're thankful for it, you know, but when we start to put judgments on things, that's when we start to move into the religion here, you know, to those conditions. And then because of this, I'm judging this. This is what the, you know, sentencing of that judge should be. So, all right. Next, I'm going to pull a card from this oracle deck. It's the the spirit animal oracle deck. Let's see what spirit animal has a message for you. You can pay attention to see if this kind of animal has shown up in your life lately or will show up in the next 30 days or so. Because that sometimes brings us even more messages as well. All right, what additional message do we have for those that chose the Jupiter card deck here? All right. Here you go. You've got the frog spirit here, which it says, "Clear out the clutter." And before I read from the little book here, you know, the message I'm getting from this, you know, this is the clutter. All those thoughts of the supposed to be's, the should be's, need to be's, have to be's, all those things, we get to take a look at those and clear those and really just question them if we'd like and go, you know, all this, maybe all these little books of rules and conditions, you know, that are on this little canoe here, we can question those and clear those away, because those are what just make us feel burdened and take away our peace. So Frog Spirit is saying, clear the clutter away. He's got a little crystal ball in his hand too, so you can see things more clearly. Right, and that's a 28, so let me see what message we have here from Mr. Froggy. So Frog Spirit knows that while all the other frogs are croaking away, this is a time for you to simplify and declutter your life so you can feel content on your own lily pad. Even when life isn't creating a total cacophony, we can become drawn to the excitement of lots of noise. Then, the next thing we know, Our schedules and homes are cluttered with commitments we regret making and objects taking up valuable space. Even relationships need decluttering as they often become messy. No kidding, right? Frog Spirit appears to tell you to clean house, prioritize what you need, and get rid of or give away the rest so you can have some space in your day and in your head. You don't need the old stuff and its stories shouting at you about the past. Along with physical clutter, friendships are sometimes kept long past their expiration date, weighing you down with unnecessary baggage. Now is the time to let go. Whatever you need will appear when you need it. So release your grip on all that clutter that is making you feel anxious and burdened. Frog Spirit wants you to reclaim your space, unencumbered by shoulds, oughts, and could have beens. Let go and jump. You're free from all that old stuff. Perfect. Yep, just like I was talking about. That is so hilarious. So just great messages on clearing things out. And then lastly, to end the reading here, I'm going to pick a card from The Universe Has Your Back, which is always a great message. It's always having that trust that the universe has your best experience always in mind, has your back. All right, and the final message here for the Jupiter card. I'm going to pick this one here. Here can be have a picture of that there. Beautiful blue card here. And it says, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. What a wonderful card to end on there. Yeah, just really surrendering all those supposed to be, should be's, all that, our mental religion we have on how things are supposed to be, how other people are supposed to act, how things are supposed to unfold, letting all of that go and surrender to just that unconditional love, just unconditional love and acceptance. And we can sit in that stillness and just be at peace, like a little frog on a lily pad. Well, I hope this brought you some love and some joy and some peace into your moments and over these next 30 days. And if you like this video, if you don't mind clicking a little like down below, that does help out my channel and it's greatly appreciated. And if you want to be kept in the loop on any future videos that I do, if you click on the subscribe button below and click the little alarm, you'll get notified on that as well. So I leave you with much love, much joy, much peace, and I wish you all the best. I love you, and you take care. All right, welcome to your reading. If you chose the fire card here, let you see that up close there. Really powerful little fire fairy there. All right, we'll put that right there. Then I'm going to start off by picking an oracle card from this map oracle deck here, just to see what starting message we have for those that chose the fire deck, the fire card. All right, what message do we have for the fire starters? The fiery card people. Okay, just make it obvious for us, please. All right, just feel this one sticking out here. And you've got the One Ring Circus, number 15. I really feel so for the next 30 days, this is starting today, November 21st through December 20th. I just really feel that this represents, it's going to be an interesting time for you that have selected this card, because though it's kind of like a duality kind of thing, where even though it's going to feel like it's a circus full of things that you never thought you would see, you're going to realize that you're the leader of your own one ring circus inside your own head, and that no matter what is happening, it's almost like going through a haunted house. You can know that it's not real, and you can have the safety in knowing that all of this that you're seeing with your eyes is based on perception, based on choice. And even though you might feel out of control, just know that you are in control, because you're in control of your own emotions. Things that are happening outside of you. I think it was in an earlier reading, it even mentioned, not my circus, not my monkeys. Those circuses and things going on aren't yours. You get to look at your own circus and realize you're in control of everything going on in your own circus. So that's intuitively. Let me see what the little book has to add to that or confirm. So the one ring circus, the little phrase that it starts off with is, "You are capable and competent!" Exclamation point. So independence is key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources that you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent, capable of moving forward with assurance. Self-reliance is important. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are always mutually supportive, stimulating, and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. Beautiful. And I really like this, especially when it talks about, let me read back here, when it talks about another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another. Be discerning in your partnerships. And being self-reliant, because during this time, and I really feel over these next 30 days, what jumped out to me was that one of the fears we have is we're dependent on other people doing certain things and acting certain ways, and that's like the circus. I need the other rings of the circus to do certain things. No, we don't. We can just focus on our own circus, our own ring, and do our part for us, because the biggest gift you can give anyone in the world is a healthy you and a full you, and once you fill up, then that'll overflow to others, and then they'll get your overflow. But don't give, don't have yourself be drained. Focus on you, and if there's any energy and time left over, then you can allow other people to have that extra, but give yourself the space, time, love, and energy you need first. And this is the time for you for these next 30 days. All right, and then next I'm going to pull a few cards from this personal oracle deck I'm working on with the creator. See what additional messages we have. And what additional messages do we have for the fire cards? There's one. Okay. All right, so we're going to start off with this one here. This is the crown chakra card there, and I'll just zoom in so you can see that here. And the meditation on the side. All right, so I'll read these here. So the crown chakra is the chakra that's at the very top that connects us to, to the creator, to the spirit world. And it talks about the master here. And that is one of the biggest things, is discovering who you are and remembering that within each of us we have this master. It's our higher being, our powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love that lives, eternally. That's, up there, and is the kind of the actor behind this character that we're playing on the earth here. And what that chakra does, it's like the connection to that world. So that's where we can bring in and kind of bring in that unconditional love down through us, like I was mentioning, filling us up and overflowing out to the world. This is where we remember who we really are, which I think this talked about, remembering I am, and remembering that powerful being I talked about is, because in that state is where we find and kind of capture back and remember our bliss. It talks about flying in the sky, which the root chakra, which is the very kind of human chakra at the very base of the chakra system, that is where we experience our fears, where we're more of a caterpillar moving along the jungle floor, trying to survive another day. Am I having enough to eat? It's all those experiences of having enough and being enough and our worth as we travel along that jungle floor. But as we move up through the chakras and we move up into that higher, the crown chakra, we get into the cocoon, and that's where we, come out of that cocoon state, the chrysalis state, and we become that butterfly, and we fly above the jungle, and we see things from a different perspective. We see that through the eyes of unconditional love, looking down onto this conditional love experience. Until it talks about I return, it's through this chakra where we remember who we are, the powerful eternal love being that I talked about. And there's a meditation that helps balance that chakra, which is the I am unconditionally loved. And I'll link it in the description box below. And I think I'll have a connection to it probably at the end of the reading too. But the meditation starts off with this first one, which is I am unconditionally loved by the creator of all things. And there's not one condition, because if there was one condition, that makes it conditional. So unconditional means there's nothing you can do to lose that love. There's nothing you can do to gain more of it, because you already have 100% of it. So remembering who you are and connecting to that higher unconditional love, connecting with the creator, connecting with the Holy Spirit of unconditional love, and connecting with all our angels, our guides, our loved ones who have passed, our ancestors. There's always a sea of unconditional loving beings that are just there cheering us on, They're always just telling us, we love you, we love you, we love you. And when we get quiet and get into that place of peace, we can hear them. All right. Yep. And then when we do that, then we get the knowing, when this love, when we're full of love, and we're in that place of silence, this, what I call the knowing, is what happens, because when we're in fear, we're out of our mind. Literally. When we're in fight or flight, the blood rushes from our head, and it's designed to keep us alive, where we don't stand there and think, should I run from this saber-toothed tiger, or should I and get eaten, So when we're in fear, we don't think. So even when we're in emotional fears with emotional monsters, we're not thinking straight. When we become quiet and we get into that place of peace, not only do we have a clear human mind, but as we connect with that unconditional love, we start to know things. And that can be, a variety of things. That can be knowing of why certain things are unfolding, or knowing that something's going to happen and then it does. You can understand why certain people are acting certain ways by just intuitively understanding what they've gone through in their life, even to their childhood, even into specific details. And sometimes it's a knowledge of just knowing how things work on this planet, how the soul works, how fear works, how love works. Just all this beautiful, beautiful knowledge of love and compassion can just fill your mind and fill you up as well. This is one of the fear cards of this deck, which is called Despair. And you'll see in the bottom down here, where the Creator gives us a way to transform this fear into peace, love, and joy, which is find the door. And you can see that he's behind bars here. And what that represents is kind of what I was talking about with when we get, our fears are based on these conditions, and we feel like we've trapped ourselves in where, things are supposed to be a certain way, and when they're not, we're freaking out. And we feel trapped and we feel enclosed. But when we connect with this love and release all those fears, and we move from being in despair to realizing, when we turn around, that there not only is not like an unlocked door behind us, there's no door at all. We've been keeping ourselves trapped by our perception and by keeping ourselves engaged in fear and feeling trapped. So when we feel like we're in despair, it's almost good news, because when we're so tired of feeling disappointed in the external things, it's designed to continue to point us back to inside ourselves, to find out who we really are and to find that unconditional love we've been seeking for all along. So in a year such as this, that'll go down in history. I'm sure we're all going to have, t-shirts made that say, I survived. Not only I survived 2020, I overcame 2020, because so much of our supposed to's and should be's and everything have been shaken this year. And so those bars have been rattled to where now we can, turn to the most important thing, which is this, who we really are, this unconditional love there. And then here is a Neptune card here. Whoops. There we go. So you can kind of read that there. I'll read these to you too. Just want you to see what this has here. So Neptune rules over Pisces. So either you have you're a Pisces, or possibly a situation that's causing this despair, or the situation really is giving you, this is giving you clarity around it, because of Pisces, they're instinctual. They can kind of focus on illusion, might be disorganized and procrastinators, but also they connect heaven to earth, and they have these higher spiritual principles. It's almost where they say Aquarians have 1 foot on earth and 1 foot in heaven. It's almost like Pisces have both feet in heaven, to where if they're too focused into that illusionary, and not so much that the heavens are illusionary, but having our minds so spiritually minded, we may not function too well in the earthly plane if we don't keep that balance. So that, they do have a very high focus on high spiritual principles. They can be a light that guides humanity. They're a bridge between fantasy and reality, like I mentioned, kind of that balance. And it really brings up a question when Neptune comes into our life. It's, what do I believe in? And what a great card to kind of summarize, what this year has been for us. This despair really makes us question, what do I believe in? What is true? How do I know it's true? And to question that. One of the great things about Pisces, too, is that they do a lot of internal work, internal investigation, and again, heavenly minded. That's what this crown chakra is all about. And then lastly, we also have the navel chakra. And I'll show you that one as well here. And what's great about this card is this is about acceptance. So where I talked about the root chakra, which is the base one, is where we kind of face our fears and we realize it. When we move into this navel chakra, which is the next one up, we realize that it's like it shows a little sunset here, or sunrise or a sunset, and that basically just shows us that we get to stand away from our emotions and see them from a distance. And we get to, rather than feel we have to resist our fears and defend ourselves from those fears, we realize that we can stand and look from a distance and watch our emotions, feel our emotions and desires, flow through them rather than resisting them. And we can have tears of loss and we can have tears of joy, and both are okay. They're not there's no bad emotions. There's just emotions. There's emotions of love that expand and raise our vibration. And there's emotions of fear and loss and anger and sadness, all those fear-based emotions that lower our love vibration. But we came here to experience those opposites between the two. And so there is nothing wrong with that. The I see portion of this is when you're looking at the seven, when you have seven chakras and you have the root chakra and the crown chakra, as you move from the outside in and meet in the heart, the navel sacral chakra here aligns up with the third eye chakra, which allows you to see truth. So where the navel chakra and the experiences you're going through are allowing you to see the physical, you're starting to understand emotions, starting to understand what's going on in the world. The third eye chakra, through which is below this crown chakra, brings in the spiritual side, so you can see those higher things. You can see the capital T truth versus the small t truth. And so this whole experience you can look at going, why is all this happening to me? It's like, okay, it's happening so I can understand more about what emotions are. And to understand happiness more deeply, we experience sadness. To understand joy more deeply, we experience depression. To understand peace more deeply, we experience anxiety and anger. And so the opposites are okay. So, when we're experiencing despair or any of those types of emotions, if we can take a deep breath and you don't want to experience it anymore, you can elevate and see from a higher perspective. And where this meditation to balance that one was, I am unconditionally loved, this meditation is, I am unconditional love. You're actually made of unconditional love. So, and as I mentioned, I'll link the meditations down below, because there's 4 meditations that go through this, which starts, I am unconditionally loved. I am unconditional love. I unconditionally love the world, and the world is unconditional love. So if you want interested in those, definitely check them out below. They're not really that long, but they'll be in the description box below as well. All right. Next, I'm going to pull an oracle card from this animal or spirit animal deck here. See what spirit animal has a message for you. All right. For those that chose the fire card, what additional message do you have for us, Creator? Please make it obvious for us. Okay. It's jumping out of there. So let's see what this one has. Canary Spirit, sing your own song. And what a wonderful, I love the little crown on the canary's head too. You are the king of your own kingdom. And just like for me, it's reinforcing this One Ring Circus and that sing your own song. Don't sing the song of everyone else. And though sometimes we enjoy singing in chorus with everyone else, for this next 30-day period, for the Sagittarius period here, it's like the Creator is saying, sing your own song. Be you. Remember who you are. Don't try to be someone you're not. He's actually sitting on a flute too. Wait, let me see what the little book has to add on there. So it says, Canary Spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine. As Canary Spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. Wow. So perfect. If I don't have anything to add on to that one. And then we'll end the reading here by giving you this last card from The Universe Has Your Back, which is always a great message to know that we're not alone and the universe is aware of you. Personally. Creator, what final message do you have for those that chose the fire card? Oh, there we go. I'll show it to you here first, and then I'll read it to you here. And it says, I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. Wow. What a great way to end. Exactly what we've been talking about. We are perceiving anything through the eyes of fear. We're lost in the darkness, but when we perceive it through the teacher of love, through the eyes of love, then we begin to see things clearly. All right, well, I hope this brought a little bit of peace, love, and joy into your moments today, and hopefully over the next 30 days, this will give you some guidance on just how to get through each moment with love instead of fear. If you did like this video, if you don't mind giving me a little like and the like button down below, that helps out my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to be included in or notified of any of my future videos that I'll be doing, just click the subscribe button and click the little alarm bell and you'll get notified. Well, I wish you all the best, all the love, all the peace, all the joy you can handle over the next 30 days. And know that I love you. You take care now.